104.7 The Cave. Mike the Intern in the studio this morning with my two good friends, part of the Tremendicon coming up May 29th through the 31st at the Oasis Convention Center on North Glenstone. Cullen and Dave, how are you guys today, man?
Doing great.
Good to see you every year.
Good to see you too.
Tremendicon, a great con, and I think you guys have built something really, really special because this one leans a little bit more towards the content creators, the writers,
Absolutely.
The artists. You get the cons with the big names and all that stuff, but these are the guys that really put in the work. Yes. And those of us that kind of really go down the path of nerddom when we, just like music with me, that's a great record. Who produced it, right? That's what leads you to the other things. So when it comes to stuff like this, whether it's comic books, games, writers, any of that stuff, once you start to go down that rabbit hole, these are the guys that are making that stuff happen.
Yeah, there's some amazingly talented people behind the scenes of the things that you like. And we have a very diverse guest list that kind of covers all that. Pretty much every creative kind of field that you could want is covered here.
And I know Cullen, obviously a huge writer, and you've been involved with this since day one, right?
Yeah, I've been at every Tremendicon, and I'm a big supporter and a big believer in what the convention is trying to do. And a lot of that's because it was so tough for me to, quote unquote, break in as a writer. At a convention like Tremendicon is really what I needed back then to figure out, when I was much younger, to figure out how to navigate these waters. Because there's a lot of knowledge in the room at that convention, and all the guests that are there to share what they've learned over building their careers.
And, there's always a really good surprise. I remember, I don't know if it was last year or the year before, the woman artist who drew for SpongeBob and all that stuff. What was her name? Or was it SpongeBob?
I think you're right.
Yeah, it was SpongeBob.
And that was more than a day ago. I don't remember.
I think I want to say it was last year.
It was last year. I don't remember her name, but she did
my goodness gracious, she was so cool and just so friendly and so approachable. Because I'm a little bit on the older side of when SpongeBob came out. I'm more of the Ren and Stimpy era, if anything. But I loved, and I still do love that show. But my point is, when you see this stuff and you grow up with this stuff and you're like, oh my God, it's bigger and larger than life. And then all of a sudden, years later, you're in the room with the one person that was drawing those cells. That's incredible to me. And the fact that she was just so approachable, it wasn't like I had to pay, $50 to $100 to get in line and then shake her hand and take a picture and then move on like a piece of cattle. We sat there and talked about what she does and what she do, and what she did. Which I think that's a big part of what you guys do. That accessibility.
That accessibility. So, you can go to any bigger convention and there's artists and there's guests there, especially like celebrities. But that's where majority of your money's going and the majority of your time while you're at the con.
Also very true.
And hey, if that's your thing, go for it. But the people who aren't getting the money that you are spending on those celebrities, they're the ones who really need it. It's the creators, and they often get overlooked.
There's so much. I mean, that's the other thing. In addition, even if you're not trying to, become a creator, you don't want to be a cosplayer. You don't want to be a maker of crafts. If you're coming just to enjoy the con experience, there's so many things you can do there. I mean, there are obviously the panels, but there's going to be there's tattoos. You can get tattoos.
Latin tattoo artist last year there by the Lego stuff, which is one of my favorite. That was another thing is, that whole Lego display thing that you guys have going is so cool. So even if you got a small kid that they don't know half of this stuff, but I tell you right now, they're going to just geek out over that Lego stuff.
There's something to enjoy for everybody.
Yeah, for sure. So if you want to get tickets, where do you go? How do you do that?
So you can go to the website, Tremendicon.com. When you go to get the ticket, you will be put to a different site. And I've had many questions about this, so I'm just going to address it here on the air. You will be taken to tabletop.events. It's just our managing platform. Many conventions use it. That's what it's there for. And you'll create a free account, and then you'll go on and you'll buy your badge. You just got to look us up. And
in addition to meeting some of the guests, you guys also have activities, and that includes tabletop games and stuff like that.
Yeah,
right?
we have workshops, we have panels, we have exhibits. We've got some really amazing stuff. And speaking of games, we actually kind of did something kind of interesting this year. We managed to get a hold of a guy named Caleb Grace. He works for FFG Games. Okay. This guy has worked for Intellectual Properties. It's another one of those faces behind the scenes. Yeah. He created the Star Wars deck building game. He's worked on Lord of the Rings Intellectual Properties and Marvel. He's created these games that are big time sellers. He's coming to actually demo it and actually show his games off and talk about his process. That's huge.
Yeah.
Do you know, I mean, how hard is it to write for an intellectual property?
Dude. And, well, Cullen probably can speak on that and the checks and balances that are involved in when you get handed something like that.
Yeah, it's a different world.
Yeah.
And it takes a very specific set of skills.
Yeah, well, what do you mean you're going to change Superman's colors to pink and green? Right. What do you mean? But yeah, I mean, again, like I said, I think just without getting lost in the woods, what Cullen said, there's something from everything, and what we're talking about is the accessibility. So any different angle at which you enjoy this stuff, whether it's tabletop gaming, comic book artists, cosplaying, any of that stuff, you guys address it, and the people involved in it make it really accessible to either introduce you or take it further.
Yeah, we've built a community.
Yeah.
And that community is very welcoming to everybody. And everything you need to look for in a convention, honestly, is there.
Yeah. So I can't wait to see you guys again. Tremendicon, Oasis Convention Center, May 29th through the 31st. Starts and opens at noon on that Friday, the 29th. So get on out there. And again, you can get your tickets at Tremendicon. That's TREMENDICON.com. And Dave and Cullen, thank you guys so much for coming in today.
Thanks for having us.